8, 7. One. And it's a very good evening as it is right now, and welcome along to St Michael's Park here in Clonmel for the TUS Clare Senior Football Championship preliminary quarter-final. Shroyd na Carrock in Oig Doonbeg. There's a very, very strong breeze. It's almost like a third team here this evening, and indeed it's blowing right down into what has been christened the country end here. Famously, a man that was known and loved by many here many years ago, Tom Downs. He caught me one evening referring to it as the bog end. He told me there's no bog in Kilmahill, young man. He said that is the country end, so that's what we'll refer to it as. And indeed the dressing room in the way to our left hand side as well. Well, it's very, very simple. Lots of mathematics throughout the championship so far this year. Right now it is a winner takes all between these two teams for the last remaining place in that quarter-final draw, which we understand will take place potentially on Tuesday, but we'll get confirmation of all that. That won't be bothering Miltown and Doonbeg right now. They'll want to make sure that their names are in it. With us here on analysis once again this evening is Joe Gary. Joe, stand is filling up here nicely. Two very well supported teams, two traditional clubs, an awful lot on the line.
A huge amount on the line, and full marks to the club here in Kilmahill. In fairness, the pitch looks in great condition despite the awful weather we've had over the last couple of days, couple of weeks indeed. But it should be really a ding-dong derby. We saw one just 2 weeks ago between Kilmahill and Doonbeg, and back in Clare. This should be something similar. Now the breeze will have a telling factor on the game because it's definitely worth 6 or 7 points to the side here playing within the first half. I didn't see how the time cost went. Chris Maguire had the captains up there just a moment ago. But I'm sure all will be revealed very shortly.
Yeah, Chris Maguire is the Rator, and on the sideline we have Robert Hart and John O'Connell keeping everything in check there as well. Their jobs made that little bit busier, of course, by virtue of these new rules which have been playing their part right across the championship as well. Let's run you through the teams then as it's being announced here on the PA system. We'll start with Shroyd na Carrock, Miltown St Joseph's, who have Ger Malone in goal. It's Inda O'Gorman, Shawnee Malone and Cormac Devitt in their full-back line. Shawnee Neelan, the evergreen Gordon Kelly, and Stephen Murphy is the half-back line. Micheál Murray and the captain Darragh McDonough are at midfield. Garrow Curtin, Conor Cleary and Paul Frawley in the Miltown half-forward line, with an inside line of Owen Cleary, Ralph Wheelahan, and wearing number 18 will be Owen Devaney. That confirms the news we speculated on all week. No Cormac Murray from Miltown this evening, and indeed no Ewan Leneen, who would have been a scorer for them as well. So lots to chat about through that particular team news. In goals for Doonbeg is Eamon Tuberty, Shane Birmingham, James Cadine and Jason Lenan is their full-back line. It's Cian O'Mahony, Ty Glidis and Gavin O'Shea in the half-back line. Midfield pairing, the two Kevins, McInerney and Pender. Mikey Tuberty captains the team at number 10. Cathal Colleen wears 11 and Owen Conway will play a very busy role around the middle third in the number 12 shirt. Dara Burns, David Tuberty and wearing number 22, the very, very busy dancing feet of Owen Colleen make up the Doonbeg full forward line. So Joe, we spoke and speculated about the Cormac Murray situation. There was a feeling Miltown might have more of a scoring power coming into this game. Now that he's gone, has that balanced it out?
Oh, it certainly has. To lose a player, of Cormac's stature and scoring prowess is a huge setback to the Miltown lads, and I'm sure it's huge. On the other side is a huge fill-up to Doonbeg not to be facing Cormac Murray, because he's just one of those instinct forwards that goes for goal at every opportunity, and it just gives them a few more options. But it does give further opportunities. Young Devaney's a fine footballer in his own right. Whelan and of course Owen Cleary there to call the shots for them as well. So they've plenty of scoring power, Kilmahill. It'll be interesting to see who has won the toss, who has taken the breeze in the first half. Doonbeg, will traditionally, play as good a football against it as they do with it, but they'll have David Tuberty kept as forward as possible. He put in some delightful ball in the last day out, particularly to Owen Colleen, so it's no huge shock that Owen has got that nod at top of the left.
It's more than a breeze, to be fair, Joe, looking at it out there, and we can even hear it in the trees down here to our right hand side at the country end of Clonmel. But I was just speculating there with a couple of lads before we came on air, does the breeze kind of give you that Superman element where you take on the superhero shot that may not be on simply because you feel the storm at your back?
Well, particularly I think nowadays, Derek, with the two-pointer,
yeah.
It just means now that whereas before in the second half here, or whichever half you're playing against it, David Tuberty will, his scoring range. We're going to pause, I think. Owen Downs has announced it. I'll just share some media Kayla. It got all on again.
Well, Germalone's run to the goal at the country in tier confirms that it's Doonbeg will have the breeze in the opening half, so it will be very, very interesting to see how both teams set up to counteract that. As we say, the man in the middle is Chris Maguire. He was part of a star-studded officiating team, I must say, that was in Clare for that relegation game last night. Niall Quinn was in the middle, Barry Keating was on one line, and Chris Maguire was on the other, so certainly doesn't become more experienced than that in terms of Clare football.
Yeah, David Tuberty's gone into the top of the square, right on the verge of the square for Doonbeg. I thought he might play a bit further out now with the breeze behind him, but interestingly enough, it's Killeen that has taken the centre half forward berth. Owen Killeen, he's gone out now, and his direct opponent will be the ageless Mr. Gordon Kelly.
Yeah, and a couple of positional switches as well. Ralph Wheelahan is here on this near side for the throw-in. I'd imagine it's only for that. Conor Cleary has dropped back here to centre forward indeed, so there'll be plenty switches as that one goes on. The referee gets the game underway, ball high up into the air, and indeed Cleary does make that first burst towards the middle, but it's picked up out there by Gearóid Curtin, former captain of the team of course as well. Out it goes, far side of the ground, Paul Frawley. Remember his performance below in Tralee for the Clare under-20s a couple of years ago, brilliant on that particular evening as well. Now he has the ball far side of the ground facing into the breeze, so Miltown going to have to be nice and patient with this one as Conor Cleary does take up that midfield position, releases Sean Nealon. He was there that evening as well. Back it comes into the hands of Frawley once again. We're looking, the 3-up is being watched here very, very closely by Doonbeg Bonastor. Brian Shanahan. Action though is at the other end of the ground, and it's the Miltown captain Darragh McDonough just going past his own 65-metre line. Great pressure being put on him there. The hand passes really have to stick today with that breeze. Stephen Murphy, one of these young up and coming stars. I see his dad down here to our left hand side. Conor Cleary takes the ball away once again. It's going to be a nice little wiggle there from Ralph Wheelahan. His first involvement, or Devaney I should say, gets that ball across to Owen Cleary. He finds the twin in the corner, top of the left right now is Conor. Back here once again Stephen Murphy. Possession here for Miltown in this opening minute of the contest. Owen Cleary goes for one from distance against the breeze. It's hanging all the way in, and it's kept inside as well. It could be an opportunity here. Owen Devaney on the spin. That's a really tidy finish. A Hail Mary kind of a ball, was just one inside. Good anticipation from a Miltown perspective. Instinctive finish it was indeed from Owen Devaney as Miltown get the first blood.
Real corner forward finish, wasn't it, Derek? You know, just got the shout from Devaney, peeled outside just inside the 14-metre line, and who kicked the ball off his right leg, just pinched the point from, you know, a reasonable enough angle, 13 or 14 metres out. Eamon Tuberty straight down the middle of the field, all the way down to the 45, but it's Shawnee Malone, the Miltown Everett 3 that has possession.
It certainly is. He finds Frawley here on this near side of the ground. Miltown holding it on through Murphy. There's Cleary. There's an advantage coming. Chris Maguire has the hand up. Frawley decides to canter forward. Ball just gets away from him as the advantage ends, but he manages indeed to get a boot on it. And over on that far side of the pitch now is Micheál Murray. His brother not available, as we mentioned, to line out this afternoon. Sean Nealon taking the ball down the far side of the ground. Miltown being very patient again, working it back to that man Owen Cleary, kicking the heels. Keane Mahoney with him. Would you believe Keane Mahoney works with Owen Cleary's other half just up the road here in St Michael's College in Kilmehel? Where else would you get that kind of information? Ball is now still with Frawley, far side of the pitch. He's hardly going to try it from there. Cleary is going in towards the corner, trying to head for the inline, trying to take on his man. Cuts back, trying to find that left boot. He gives it. Oh, that's a real good steal from Micheál Murray. Tries to take on his man back onto the left, hangs a speculative ball up high. It needs to be dealt with. It's Miltown that take it down. It was Ralph Wheelahan who was inside on the edge of the square. Almost worked out for them, but now Doonbeg with a chance to spend their first little bit of time in possession. We have seen what on the clock here, about coming up on 3 minutes, Joe. It's been all Miltown so far.
All Miltown so far, you know, but Doonbeg have to be mindful, you know, of not committing too many men back. Remember, they have to keep 3 up, and there's always a temptation to chase down a runner. They've got a ball out to the far corner, but Miltown's structure has been fine and solid so far. At the moment, it's the captain, Darragh McDonough, who's minding the D. All the rest of the men are going out on their own players. Doonbeg have the ball 55 metres out from the Miltown goal.
And they have dropped David Tuberty out that little bit deeper. He's skulking around the 45-metre line. Gordon Kelly with him for company. What a brilliant battle if you're a fan of Clare football, watching those two boys, not just this year, but many years of goal. Bent towards Gavin O'Shea, the goal scoring hero. He obviously has the green flags in the nostril. It was very, very close to coming down for him there, Joe, but just overhit.
Yeah, in fairness to him, young Killeen, lovely, delightful pass will stay with the play, because Sean Nealon, Patrick Nealon, from this distance, Derek, it's, you know, they're bringing the ball right in as close as they can to the Miltown goal, and then they're trying to get their kickers, other scorers at the end of it.
Yeah, and Doonbeg seem happy enough to let them do that, don't they? Maybe try those shots from outside the arc if they're so inclined. Right now, it's Owen Cleary with the ball, slows the pace down, back it goes once again. McDonough just hanging around there, trying to take it forward, and over there too. Right now is Gearóid Curtin making a run down that right hand channel. In it comes to Conor Cleary, big high looping ball, but the umpire, ever before the ball lands, puts his hands out to say that one has gone to the right and wide. Miltown are fairly vehemently contesting it. And I think Chris Maguire is just agreeing with the umpire, checking that he's okay. Ball has gone to the right and wide. Kick out once again for Eamon Tubridy.
Yeah, and it's the one thing you wouldn't advise against Derek, is to put the ball up so high when you're kicking into the upper goal here. You know, you have to chip one like Devaney did in the first couple of minutes. You know, keep the trajectory low, because the higher it goes, the more likely it is to get caught in the breeze. Another break going Miltown's way, and as you say, first couple of minutes, early doors, all Miltown Malbay.
Yeah, and Stephen Murphy has been on the ball quite a bit. He was the man coming away with that break. It's Owen Cleary now taking it forward, coming inside. He'd prefer it on the kit, but he's deadly off both. He finds the brother just behind him, looking up. There's space over on that right hand channel. Sean Nealon's in an ocean of it over there. Garrod Curtin just getting wrapped up. Darren McDonough comes over. Now the ball eventually tries to make its way over, but that was really well read out there by Kevin McInerney, but even better read by Gordon Kelly right on the halfway line. Plays a hand pass across. There's no one out there. That was a 3-up scenario. They're looking back here. If Miltown wanted to have a shout there, they have it back now as the ball has just stepped over the line. Gordon Kelly is allowed to go forward right now. Owen Cleary is hanging around. It's Conor Cleary though that takes it on. Owen Devaney has stepped out. He's being tracked by Owen Conway, but right now the ball is on the far side of the pitch. Ball played into the corner. Micheál Murray there once again in a battle with James Killeen on the right on the inline. Coming out, needs a runner off the shoulder, gets it. That's Conor Cleary, way too tight to take on a shot, but not to take on his man. Puts the ball across, looking for Devaney. Will come back for the free. Really clever play there from both Micheál Murray and Conor Cleary, winning the free on that side, which means enters Owen Cleary's Kitog.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin Pinder was deemed the guilty party. Just a pull back at the elbow as he dropped the ball to his foot, and even though the ball, did cross, came all the way across the goals, Doonbeg had possession, so Chris Maguire quite within his rights to bring the ball back. He's just going to be outside the small D, we'll say, but he's on the 14-metre line, kicking into the breeze. But as a Kitog, he'll favour this angle than the other. So again, it's all about trajectory here. I'm sure he won't launch it terribly high, Derek.
No, but he will launch it wide. Unfortunately, from his perspective, goes all the way across the goal, and it goes to the left and wide. We send our greetings to Frank Minogue, who isn't in St Michael's Park. He's in the Theatre of Dreams at his Old Trafford, would you believe, this afternoon. He's listening in to us, and he's happy enough with the 3-2 result that has been pulled out there as well. So Frank, hope you're enjoying the early doors of this commentary. We have 6.5 minutes played. It is Miltown in front by a single point to no score. Brilliant take from the kick out once again. Miltown really dominant around that middle third area. Owen Devaney or Ralph Wheelahan though has dropped right back to pick up that one. Gordon Kelly now strides forward down that right hand side, always does everything so simply and brilliant. Across to Owen Cleary comes. Sean Nealon now just looking and assessing the options out ahead of him. Again, it's Gordon staying up in support of the attack. Back to Darren McDonough once again. It's a fairly crowded D area, so he has to try and go over the top of it. It's breaking down. Frawley almost came onto it, but it is working back deep there. The Doonbeg men in the hands of James Killeen, puts it all the way across. That is Kevin Pinder now coming onto it, linking up with Owen Conway, puts it onto the left boot, and Mikey Tubridy now drops back to that left wing back position to try and carry it forward. It's a feeling, Joe, Doonbeg now just need to spend a little bit of time in the other half of the pitch. They've soaked up a lot of pressure in 7 minutes. Yeah,
we'll just stay with this play now, but it's in the Gorman, well read by the veteran Miltown defender. Miltown go on the attack one more time, but it's all about I think it was Inda had ploughed into him after giving the ball. So Chris Maguire said, there was no, and it was a rather silly free for Inda to give away because, Miltown had the ball coming up the field. Now, this is about 55 metres out from the Miltown goal. So this could very well be within a kickable distance from David Tubridy, and that will give you some indication of the breeze we have here in St Michael's Park in Kilmel this evening.
Yeah, he's just gone past the 65-metre line, which was maybe 60 or so metres out as we watch. I know he goes short. He just sold everybody a pup there, didn't he? Decided to play it short down that left-hand channel. Goes and takes the return on the 45, but now Miltown are stepping out and just making sure they're closing down that space as Cathal Killeen tries to forge away forward. In it goes in towards Dara Burns, very lively man on that 45-metre line. 2-goal hero from the last day, Gavin O'Shea, just on the 45, puts it all the way across that zone. Conway, far side of the pitch with him there right now is Indo O'Gorman, plays a nice low ball inside towards Owen Killeen. He's been pushed in the back. Good little dart of a run out from him. Free in for Doonbeg, left-hand side. This should be a gimme. We won't do the kibosh job or anything like that, but from this distance, David Tubridy puts it on the floor.
He'll put it on the floor, yeah. He's going to be maybe 30 metres out as the crow flies from Ger Malone's crossbar. But young Killeen, Owen Killeen, he'd be just a nightmare for a cornerback because he's so quick on his feet, and that dash was maybe 12-15 metres out. Ball came to his ankles, which wasn't ideal, but just had the space and had the time, and now David to convert.
What's that saying you have, Joe, about the snow? No, fully dressed this afternoon once again, but you'd watch David Tuberty do that anywhere. He's been doing it for so long, hasn't he? A point apiece it is here, and indeed not just Miltown and Doonbeg playing, but also the commentary sponsor battle between Jones's Super Value in Miltown and Tuberty's Bar and Restaurant in Doonbeg. So we thank them both for getting on board in this particular contest, and we will of course have our Patrick Burke Menswear man of the match selection towards the end of the game. Breaking ball, Mikey Tuberty is the man that picks it up, gets a call outside him from Shane Birmingham, goes on the loop once again. Now enter David Tuberty here, into O'Gorman in front of him. Tuberty looking at the goals, looking at the runners through the middle, looking to recycle it back to Gavin O'Shea. It goes, he's right on the 45 metre line. Tig Lidis with the dummy run. Instead it goes across to Kevin Pender, to Cathal Killeen, stepping inside the cover, going through, finding a little bit of space. That's cut out though by Sean Nealon. Good defending from him, just got the contact on at the right time. Gavin O'Shea decides to try one from distance. The confidence will be up, but the white flag won't be, as that ball goes out to the right hand side and wide. A point apiece it is after a tense enough but good enough opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know, the quality isn't earth-shattering, but you know, there's full of honest endeavour. I'd like to, you know, from a Doonbeg's perspective, you'd want them to, you know, making sure that John Malone has a lot of kick-outs in the first half, because that last one, you know, didn't reach the you know, just past the 45, and he has to keep his trajectory low on the kick-outs as well, because anything that goes too high will hang out to the sideline, you know, and
that's exactly what has happened with this one, hasn't it? The breeze just took it all the way across. It goes out into the stand.
Yeah,
here,
just too much height, and the breeze takes it, and it's going to be on the 45 metre line. Tullabrack's John O'Connell is the linesman there beside Mikey Tuberty, and maybe the Doonbeg captain might leave it to his veteran namesake to take charge.
Yeah, no, he's not going to try it, I'd say, by the body shape there, but he is certainly looking and asking for a runner to make themselves available. And is he going to get one? He gets it to the centre to Mikey Tuberty. Somehow found that little bit of space, lays it off. This is Owen Killeen, tidy angle, turns back onto the left. Gordon Kelly, exceptional. Just read that. I'd say he knew what was going to happen with Owen Killeen there before the ball was even taken. Brilliant lockdown. Off he goes with the solo and go. Miltown tried to work it down the stand side. Yeah,
there was a good opportunity. Mikey Tuberty, I thought he, you know, had an opportunity off his left leg to kick the point, and once he came back to Owen Conway, really once he hit the turn, Derek, and turned back onto his left leg, it gave Gordon ample opportunity, and you don't need to ask Gordon twice. Conor Cleary now has stolen a march on the Doonbeg defence. He's going to pass it in towards captain for the Miltown senior football captain this year, Darragh McDonough.
He plays it out wide. A very relieved Kildysart managers here in front of us indeed as well. Morris Welch, after their win last night against the home club here back in Clare in that relegation playoff opportunity here, as the ball is worked back towards Micheál Murray once again from a very tight angle. There was a knee there of Eamon Tuberty that was used to get that ball out. It's Shane Birmingham picking it up, tackled around the neck, but in fairness to Miltown, Joe, they have created 2 or 3 little half-goal chances here, 11 minutes played into the breeze.
Yeah, I think it was Paul Devaney that put in the beautiful ball. He took out to the 2 Doonbeg defenders with a little chip pass, if it was him originally, and Tig Lidis got his right hand to it to divert it away from danger before Sharon Birmingham managed to pick it up and be fouled. So, you know, the threats are there for Miltown, but Doonbeg won't be unduly bothered at the moment. A point apiece, you know, what are we gone in the first half, maybe 12 or 14 minutes, so they won't be unduly bothered. On Cleary had to double check there, he got no shout, so he paused on the halfway line to make sure there was 3 up, but nevertheless the danger somewhat averted, because Miltown have plenty of bodies back.
Hasn't it really put a big emphasis on communication around the middle third? Like, it's a new dynamic in the game, obviously, and a really dynamic.
Mikey's opening
Mikey
up.
Tuberty, he's going right through. He can see Ger Malone. It's a brilliant save from Ger Malone, getting down to his right hand side. He produced a cracking save against Dermot Coughlin in the opening game of the championship back in Clare. He's repeated the trick here as well. He stood firm, he stood long. That was the key to that. He made himself big for as long as possible and then got down as Mikey tried to find the bottom corner. Concern here now as well for one of the Doonbeg players that's down injured, but right now the concern is the fact that Miltown are going all the way through. This could be a big opportunity. Conor Cleary! Goal for Miltown. Opportunity at one end, saved by Ger Malone, and the big rampaging devil that is Conor Cleary, right down the middle, and the ball clips the inside of the post, finds its way into the net. What a score, what a leader. Miltown 1-1, Doonbeg 1 point. We've 13 minutes played.
Yeah, I wonder how big a turn of events could that materialise at the end of the game. Mikey Tuberty opens up the whole defence. Both players had to carry the ball maybe 40 yards to open up. It was their pace and power brought them in. Mikey tried to pass the ball into the net via Ger Malone's right leg. Ger got down smartly, as you said, and then at the other end, when it opened up, Conor clearly just had one thing on his mind. His right foot crashed off the left hand upright as we face the upper goal here and the back of Eamon Tuberty's net. Outstanding finish from the big Miltown man, and there goes, it's a 6-point swing in a matter of 15 or 20 seconds.
Yeah, and to top it all off, as we said, it was actually Mikey Tuberty that was down injured after that last attack. He's been minded there by Gordon Kelly, and I mean that in the loosest sense of the word, but Mikey doesn't look overly comfortable on that leg right now.
No,
so
he pulled up straight away after. No, he ran maybe 40-50 yards at full tilt to create the goal opportunity. His brother has some boot in him, hasn't he? He's powering the ball maybe down 60, 70, 80 yards.
Yeah, but Darren McDonough got in underneath her brilliantly, and it was Shawnee then coming out to read the break right on the 45-metre line. Plays the ball low and loose enough. David Tuberty got a boot to it, and he was fouled as well. So that's one that Miltown, just a little lapse in concentration there. They don't have to hand the ball back in that scenario because it was just on the ground, but it will be a free in now, and good stuff from David to set up that particular one. Kevin Pinder goes down that left hand channel, gives it back to Tuberty. Gavin O'Shea coming on, he's in a bit of space now as he goes past that 45-metre line. Owen Conway tries to cut in from the line, back it comes from Darragh Burns. He was a bit off balance kicking that one, dropping in around. This should be, it's Owen Killeen, little touch on the ground was there, just couldn't get it up in time. Working back deep there was Garrow Curtin, and now it's Shawnee decides to dance forward down this near side of the pitch, back to Garrow Curtin once again. The Rockmount men combine as it's back to Paul Frawley, and Miltown just looking comfortable and composed at the back, it must be said. Very, very comfortable in their skin and the game plan they're trying to play.
Definitely, every player's comfortable on the ball, as you quite rightly say, and it's all about not bringing the ball into tackle. Every one of them popping the ball before the tackle, and trying to get the likes of this man on possession at the end of the move. That's Owen Cleary. He's 50 yards out from Eamon Tuberty's goal as we speak, trying to get on his left leg, and he might just have done that, Derek.
It's curling this one, but it's going to cross the goal once again. Eamon has to come out and be safe because Ralph Wheelahan was inside hanging around trying to get a touch on that one. Eamon goes for a foray down the far side here, but he has eventually to turn, and he finds Kevin Pinder just on his own 45-metre line. Kevin McInerney now the man that has the ball just inside his own arc. Out it comes to the fullback James Killeen. Down the line it comes for Owen Conway. Can he get there before the sideline knows the answer to that? Brian Shanahan was there watching him, didn't have an awful amount of sympathy for him either, I must say, as the ball goes out over the sideline, and we might now have a change. I think Mikey Tuberty has to give way to that injury, so that is an early blow from their point of view. We'll just try and pick up who's coming on.
Yeah, that's a big bang. And not only is he captain of the side, but he's one of their go-to players. I thought the blow in or back in Court of Clare last week against Kilmahel, he was ever available, particularly off kickouts when they were up against it. Line has been broken here, and it's one of those, I think, when you step inside the line, so the ball will have to be returned now. It was a Miltown ball, but it'll have to be handed back, I think.
It's a throw-in, is it?
Yeah.
Throw-in, yeah. So that was well marshalled here by a former referee, of course. It was Brian Shanahan. He was putting them all under pressure there, letting them know that he was watching. The ball is thrown up, and right now Cathal Killeen is the man that has it. So Doonbeg have lost their captain to injury here early in this contest. 16 minutes gone. Miltown lead 1-1 to a point thanks to Conor Cleary's goal, and a brilliant one it was, clipping, as Joe said, that left hand post before nestling in the corner. Ty Glidis gives the ball back here to David Tuberty. He sells the dummy, goes across, sells the little dummy solo on the left as well, holds on to the ball, gives it back to Gavin O'Shea, but Miltown again defensively moving left, moving right, very, very structured in what they're doing, closing off the space, and all of this is happening with 17 minutes of the game gone, with Doonbeg playing with an absolute storm down towards the scoreboard end here. Now Cathal Killeen decides to try and launch it in, but it's just, that's what we spoke about before. Did Ger get a touch? No, ball goes out to the wide, but that's what we spoke about just before the game, Joe. I think Cathal Killeen decided the breeze is with me, let's have a cut. A shot that wasn't really on, but you take it because you feel the wind. And
you could see they weren't breaking the Miltown defensive line, Derek. They were going over and back, and you could just imagine it was getting a little bit frustrating. And he took it on, never got underneath the football though, and it whizzed harmlessly wide of Ger Malone's right hand post. So 2 wides for both sides, but more importantly on the scoreboard, it's Nath Yosef Coolagus Coolinawanek for forcing win to Doonbeg, and it's a 3-point lead in either language.
Great kick of the ball from Ger Malone into that breeze to reach the 65-metre line, and even better, Shawnee Nealon winning that break and brought to ground as well. Decides to go quickly with the solo and go. Can he do that? Stephen Murphy decides no, let's give the ball back. We can go almost that way because Paul Frawley is just right now on the halfway line. Chips the ball up, nice work from him to Conor Cleary, spreads it wide, good ball, brilliant ball. It is out into the hands here of Garrow Curtin on the left hand channel. Again Miltown just have runners left and right. Paul Frawley, one of those right through the middle right now. Is he brought to ground? Yes indeed, free in for Miltown right just in front front of the goal. This should be a kickable free from their perspective, and you have to credit the Miltown game plan, because all the analysis, Joe, in this game was Saturday evening isn't promised great, it's going to be a real battle, Doonbeg of old, all that, but Miltown are playing the game around them. They're not engaging to allow that kind of game to occur.
No, and they've a lot of good young footballers, Derek. That's the key. Full of running, and you're one of those now who's appointed his name already is young Devaney. And he'll be kicking with his right foot, and you'd imagine, it came off the post.
And breaks down, and they have to try and deal with this one. And it was Ty Glittis going across to get a touch, but again, Doonbeg injuries mounting up inside, because in the heat of the battle there, someone has taken a bit of a knock, so there will be more work for the physio to do. It'll result in a 45 though for Miltown, and that's just an indication, I suppose, of the swirling nature of the breeze. But again, just
is it Jason Lennon that's in there, is
possibly, yeah. We'll just have a quick look at
just
that.
seemed to land awkwardly, but Shane Mack, the physio there, Curl Kerman has gone in to help out, and I'm sure he'll get him back on his feet very quickly. But that was one I thought Miltown should have nailed. Devaney a bit disappointed with that, kicking off his right leg. It did favour him from the angle, but he hit the near post and then bounced down. Doonbeg managed to bat it out for 45, but it means the danger and all the pressure in particular is up here at the wrong end of the field from their point of view.
Tubridy's Bar and Restaurant in Doonbeg, Jones's Super Value in Miltown, our commentary sponsors, and of course delighted to be partnering with Clare GA TV this year as well here on Clare FM, who of course are supported by the mighty people at Zimmer Biomet for this campaign. Right now it's a 45 for Miltown. It's Owen Cleary to take it, chips it inside, a breaking ball. This time is won by Miltown. It was Kevin Pender back there doing the donkey work, and now David Tubridy has stepped back onto his own 45 metre line. They might have a little bit of an overlap here if they can get the ball inside, but indeed Miltown are cutting off that cover. They have a spare man back just watching the ball. It's David Tubridy now taking it forward. He's just gone from 145 to the other. Cahill, sells a dummy, but the second one, Shawnee Malone just dives in, got two hands down to block down his solo. You don't often see that, but he knew what was coming.
Yeah, indeed, he was there. He was back on his feet then to take possession again. So Shawnee, has worked his weight in goal to that Miltown full back line. He's been there with years. I don't like him, I have to say, at full back. I always felt he was a better six, but nevertheless, he has proven me wrong on plenty of occasions now. Another quick ball into the goal scorer. Yeah. Can they create another lap?
Return it to me. Murray just wouldn't come to hand on him, and Tubridy's quickly out off his line just to tidy things up, but the warning signs
are there, definitely, and that was another one that Doonbeg, hearts and mouths here on the stand, because every time they run at the Doonbeg defence, they seem to create opportunities. I know that one didn't go to hand, but still the warning signs definitely are signalling plenty of intent from the Miltown men.
And look at the intent from Gordon Kelly in the tackle there on Cahill Clean, but unlucky to be pulled on, and then Cahill decides to take the solo and go, while the Miltown six is away from the heart of the defence. Sells the dummy. He's just outside the arc, looking up, needs a runner off the shoulder, gets it in the form of Dara Burns. He finds David Tubridy right here across. Again, Gavin O'Shea goes for a run down the left hand side. David comes to the other. Owen Clean takes it on here again, setting the dummy, trying to cut inside. Back it comes to Dara Burns. Now he's a little bit of space, kicks with the outside of the boot, and just did it.
No.
Just out to the right hand side and wide, and an awful lot of work done by Doonbeg in the build up to that. Nothing to show for it.
No, but a better attempt certainly. That one was it was a difficult thing to do, is kick across your body, especially in breezy conditions like that. He tried to angle it for the left hand post, pulled it here to the right and went a foot wide, but still we've only had 3 scores in the first half. I know it's, but so both sides are capable of much better than what we've seen so far. There's no doubt about that. But conditions playing a big part. Another low kick out, another attack won by Doonbeg, but they need to get the right min at the end of it. And at the moment, Miltown seem to have the measure in that regard.
Cahill Clean taking the ball back once again, but good defensive work there by Darren McDonough to hold him up. Ty Glittis comes up now to aid the attack, puts it across here. Good run from Owen Clean down the right hand channel across to David Tubridy. Can he produce something special from here? Doonbeg needed just to get back into this game. David Tubridy hanging that ball up high with the left boot. It's dropping in around dangerously. It hits the crossbar and it comes down and it's tidied up, and it's Miltown bring it away. Good work there from Indo O'Gorman. Just came onto the breaking ball and gave it out to Gordon Kelly. Threads a nice little pass up the centre here to Shawnee Nealon. He has a runner coming through the middle. That man is none other than Conor Cleary. Gets the fist pass across to the far side of the ground, and Devaney is over there just trying to hold on to that breaking ball again. Miltown and just beyond their own 45 metre line. Here comes Conor Cleary midway between the 45 and 65. There's a bit of space here now for Ralph Wheelahan. He's inside the arc. He's up around the D. That's a great block down. Good work from Gavin O'Shea back there, and turns it over. That's a really good play. Now Doonbeg would love to get a score just to get really up and running. 23 minutes played. They're playing with a storm and they've only scored once. That is the reality. Kevin McInerney lays the ball off to his left hand side, and it's the newly introduced Paul Dillon Giving it to Darragh Burns, sweeping around. They could do the score from him. He takes it on.
That's
it's travelling. That's
score.
a fabulous kick from Darragh Burns, created by the wily old Paul Dillon, the secondary school teacher, laying it off there to Darragh Burns. It's is it a 2-pointer?
Oh, yeah.
It certainly is. 1-1 Miltown. 3
Nearly
points.
a 3-pointer was out from such a distance.
1-1 to 3 is what the scoreboard says. 23-42 says the clock.
Yeah, Darragh Burns, has that in his locker, hasn't he? Pulls around, just waits for the break and play, gets onto his right leg, and then, with unerring accuracy, straight over Ger Malone's crossbar. And now they get the opportunity to build on that, face the kick out once again. Ger is going to try and see can he find his man, and in fairness to the lad, he's just done that.
Yeah, Paul Frawley, really good run from him to the line, but it was the auxiliary run, we'll call it in, by Cormac Devitt that has released Dara McDonough right down the middle here. Miltown looking to respond straight away. It's Owen Cleary that ends up with the ball, heading out to his favourite left-hand channel. Keane Mahoney with him. He's on an advantage, so he can do what he likes here. He could even just stand and kick that ball goalwards, which he does. Drops into him, and Tuberty back become for the advantage. Now, okay, it is the advantage rule, Joe, but I find it's frustrating a lot of people because it has moved away from the old thing of the 5 seconds. Now it's kind of with the referee's discretion, and sometimes it can go on a bit.
It can go on a bit, but had that resulted in a goal scoring chance, you'd be saying great advantage played by Chris Maguire. So on that last occasion, he clearly signalled. You could see Owen Cleary really just threw a boot at the end because he knew the advantage was there. Conor Cleary goes short. It's very important for Miltown keep the ball up this side of the field. Second half, great turn. Micheál Murray.
Micheál Murray cutting inside onto his right boot. That's a class score from Micheál Murray. It was the turn that made it, though, wasn't it? Just so sharp in the way he kicked around the other side on the blind side of the Doonbeg defender, and then notched the ball over the bar. Good anticipation from Conor Cleary to find him as well. 1-2 to 3. It's Miltown leading. Doonbeg with the breeze. 5 to half time.
And straight away, that's half that 2-point. That effort a couple of moments ago to give Doonbeg a little bit of momentum. It arrests that and it says, right, we're still bossing the game. 1-2 to 3 points. You're playing against the breeze, and I'm sure Martin Guerin will be more than happy as he approaches half time with his Chargers' first half efforts.
Owen Clean taking the ball there from Keane Mahoney. He's on the 45-metre line again, just jinking. Finds a man out here to his right hand side. That man is Kevin McInerney. He throws a boot at the ball. This one is very, very high and a little bit inaccurate as it goes out to the right hand side and wide. Again, I suppose, but in fairness to Doonbeg, at least they're getting shots off, killing the ball and setting up to defend the kick out.
They are, yeah, but you must try and get Derek here, your scorers at the end of the moves, and I know they haven't. You could say that they've been fairly well marshalled by the Miltown defence, but Kevin, that looked a tired effort from Kevin here because he was practically standing, kicking the ball. Nevertheless, as you say, it's Ger Malone's kick out now. Again, they get an opportunity to face it. Ger, every time he's gone to the right hand side, he hasn't got as much joy as he's on the left. Let's see how he goes this time.
Yeah, Tyke Lillis is the man that jumps to take that ball on the 65-metre line. The hand pass a bit loose. Carl Clean had a bit of work to do there and just couldn't complete it because Miltown turned it over. Cormac Devitt really, really quick in on that breaking ball, and gets Stephen Murphy now trying to take it on the far side. There's Gordon Kelly going for a rampage once again. Keeps going indeed. He's going to hit the 45 shortly. Now he offloads it. Great hands from Indo O'Gorman to lay it off here to Conor Cleary. He gets the call behind him again. Miltown trying to build. It's Indo O'Gorman staying up in support of the attack. He's on an advantage. They could just stand up here. Garreau Curtin decides to have a go, and that ball is going to go left and wide, so we do come back for the free, but just really good from Miltown. Like their support network when they start to run, it's nearly you have 2 options left and right.
In fairness, that was a sweeping move all the way into the field. And remember, as I said, Ger Malone's kickouts over to the right-hand side are not going well. On the last occasion, Doonbeg attacked that, but then spilled the ball and gave it up. And Miltown straight away, and O'Gorman has been involved 2 or 3 occasions in the last move. It will results now with Owen Cleary outside the small D. I'm sure he'll be aiming for the left-hand post to tuck it in, keeping the trajectory reasonably low, but it's certainly within his compass, Derek.
Yeah, it is. It's low, it's powerful, and it's accurate. It's all the things that Miltown will want it to be, and that is Owen Cleary off the mark for this afternoon's contest. 1-3 to Miltown, 3 points to Doonbeg. That Conor Cleary goal, now the big score of the game, as the misty stuff is off over here to the western end. Hopefully it'll just blow onwards as Tyke Lillis looks to recycle that ball around to James Killeen again. Doonbeg working it through the hands, just trying to find that delivery zone. Gavin O'Shea just tagged there by Owen Cleary as he tried to go by him. Cathal Killeen dropping back deep onto the halfway line. Kevin McInerney and Kevin Pinder, the midfield pairing, just all hanging around there. Once again, it's Gavin O'Shea taking it right down in front of the Doonbeg dugout. Owen Conway has it far side the ground, right out on the touchline, dinks the ball inside looking for Darragh Burns. He's having some battle inside with Inda O'Gorman, and it looks as if Inda has won this particular version of it, because the ball goes out over the line, and not just winning the ball but also winning possession.
Winning possession, far side of the field, again. But I mean, that Miltown, back unit, plenty of experience there with Shawnee Gordon and Inda, and then they have the younger lads to supplement that as well. So they have a nice balance there. Cormac Devitt has settled in well, Stephen Murphy, and of course Sean Nealon. So you have an ideal mix maybe of youth and experience there. Plenty of flair, plenty of footballing ability, and I think they'll be quite rightly proud of their first half efforts.
And plenty composure as well as they work the ball through the hands from that left cornerback position. It's now ended up around midfield with Owen Cleary deciding to press, accelerate and go, and he does just that. He's going to hit the 45 right now, and he'll bypass it indeed in just a moment as well, as Miltown still hold on to the ball. That's Sean Nealon, far side of the ground, back to Cleary once again. Good hand pass inside to Garrod Curtin. It's just going to drop short though into the arms of Eamon Tuberty. Brian Shanahan here underneath us directing that there's oceans and oceans and acres of ground here in front of him. He plays the ball down the line. Owen Conway will trap it, and he will look forward. Doonbeg now are in the teeth of the final minute of this opening half, with the breeze to come from Miltown when we'll resume very, very shortly indeed. It's clean with the ball. Ty Glidis stepping up, being met by the opposite number 6, forcing to go back over to the left hand channel. He goes to Kevin McInerney, to Gavin O'Shea with the white boots flashing as he tries to go by Conor Cleary. Bit of a physical mismatch there, so he turns back around to Dara Burns. He's getting wrapped up by O'Gorman, and in goes, brilliant bit of defending once again from who else but Gordon Kelly. Brave as you like, dives down on the ball. Dara took the temptation of swinging the boot, trying to make it. Gordon probably knew he was going to do that, and wins the free for his team.
Yeah, a little bit aimless as well from Doonbeg though. There's a lot of passing going on, but it's more by accident than by design that they're creating any gaps, because Miltown are playing that extra player back. Every time Doonbeg break, Dara McDonough goes back, retreats, plays on the 21, and bottles up everything. So Miltown now have plenty of hard work done to get the ball out far side the field, but they have it, and Sean Nealon will have the ball as Chris Maguire blows the half-time whistle.
He certainly does, and as he did that, it was right on 30 minutes. Chris not interested in injury time at the end of this first half, as everybody heads for the safety of the dressing room before this shower that's threatening. Main down here on top of us. 1-3 Miltown, 3 points Doonbeg, Joe. It's a poor enough return, I suppose, from a Doonbeg perspective, given the strength of the breeze that they're playing with. But for Miltown to have the goal on the board going in with the breeze to come is huge.
That was the 6-point swing, wasn't it? In fairness, Mikey Tuberty fine save from Jeremy Malone, and then all the way up to the same move all the way up the field, and Connor blasts the ball off the left hand post into the back of the net. So that's really the decisive score of the first half, no doubt or question about that. But nevertheless, I think Doonbeg will be disappointed with what they've brought to the party so far. 3 points with a strong breeze behind them, without asking any serious questions of the Miltown defence. Any goal chances we've seen by and large have been up here at the upper end, at the town goal, as Tom Downs used to call it. So Miltown go in, but there's only 3 points in it, Derek, and Miltown, I'm sure Martin Guerin will remind them that there's a long way to go, and once Doonbeg get their teeth stuck in this match in the second half, if they can keep that score or two between the sides, they'll bring this game down to the death.
Mikey Tuberty just making his way off there. You can see the right thigh is very heavily strapped from whatever knock he picked up, and that one is a heavy shower, comes and goes as quick. We've kind of gone straight from summer to winter. I don't think we're going to get an autumn this year by the way things are facing up, but right now it's Miltown leading by 1-3 to 3 points at half time. Second half commentary to come. We'll take a Suspiog.
CS Fish specialises in catching, sourcing and delivering fish of the highest quality, drawing on over 30 years experience. We have shops in Doonbeg, Ennis and Limerick. We also offer wholesale throughout Clare, Limerick and Galway. Visit us on Instagram at csfishdoonbeg. Be our guest in Tuberty's Bar and Restaurant, Doonbeg. We have a great selection of fish dishes, a haven for fine food. The restaurant is a great all-rounder for atmosphere, food and service. Tuberty's is noted for its comfortable atmosphere where locals and visitors can share a drink or two and even a story. Visit us at Tuberty's Bar, Doonbeg.
Goes for one from distance against the breeze. It's hanging all the way in, and it's kept inside as well. It could be an opportunity here on the Vanny on the spin. That's a really, really tight.
His ankles, which wasn't ideal, but just had the space and had the time, and now David to confirm.
Clare's is down injured, but right now the concern is the fact that Miltown are going all the way through. This could be a big opportunity. Conor Cleary! Goal from Dylan. Giving it to Darragh Byrne, sweeping around. They could do the score from him. He takes it on. It's travelling. That's
score.
a fabulous kick from Darragh Byrne.
Miltown keep the ball up this side of the field. Second half,
lovely
great turn. Micheál Murray.
Micheál Murray cutting inside onto his right boot. That's a class score from Micheál Murray. It was
Just took it in, keeping the trajectory reasonably low, but it's certainly within his compass, Derek.
Yeah, it is. It's slow, it's powerful, and it's accurate. It's all the things that Miltown wanted. We're back in St Michael's Park in Clonmel for the second half of this evening's Clare TUS Senior Football Championship quarter-final playoff, where it is currently Miltown leading by 1-3 to Doonbeg's 3 points. A bit of a shower we had at half-time has killed the breeze a little bit, but certainly not enough to make it advantageous from a Miltown perspective for this second period. Before we get the action back underway, Joe, you want to remember somebody that was hugely involved in the GA and indeed would have known the Miltown parish quite well.
Certainly, I have to say I didn't know Jovan personally, but everything you did, anyone who has any battles with Moy over the years would remember him. He was just a stalwart there, and by all accounts, a fairly formidable fullback in his playing days as well. But just over the years, he was the heart and soul of my GA club. I was speaking to the Garrahees last night, Sue and Thomas, and they're still reeling with the shock of that tragic house fire up there. And I think Joe has gone to the church this afternoon. When we send our sympathies and our condolences not only to his family and friends first of all, but to the wider community of Moy and Miltown, because by all accounts, he was one in a lifetime, and such was his involvement. He was the honorary life president of my GA club because he was held in such stature up there, and I'm sure there's a lot of people grieving his loss this evening.
Yeah, certainly all the tributes that we've seen since that news broke echoes all those sentiments as well. So our condolences to the Vaughan family and indeed all involved in my GA on his loss. Back here now in St Michael's Park, Chris Maguire just putting his hand up to his eyes to check his two umpires are back in place. Down to our left hand side, second half of this game back underway. Miltown holding the upper hand, who will be still standing in the championship in about 40 minutes time or thereabouts. We will be very intrigued to find out the answer to that. Right now Miltown lead 1-3 to 3 points. They play with the breeze, they play a beautiful ball down here towards Ralph Wheelahan. Turning back around, gets the call from Gerard Curtin. He offloads it back once again. Miltown working it through the hands, and it's Owen Cleary who takes off. He'll get a sighted goal very shortly. He'll get it onto the right boot. He'll kick it straight between the posts, and Miltown off to a flyer here in the second half. We told you in the first he likes it on the Kitog, but he's pretty good off both, and he's proven that right now as Miltown strike first and lead 1-4 to 3 points.
And straight away put the pressure on Doonbeg now to win their own kick out into the breeze, because that's what Doonbeg weren't doing in the first half, is killing the ball with conviction. They were more pot shots, as you quite rightly alluded to. Eamon has a tendency to put the ball very high up, so it won't travel a great distance. It's an ideal opportunity for Miltown to attack it. They did attack it, but they spilt it, and now it's Cathal Killeen is in possession.
Yeah, Sean Needham in absolute pursuit of him and gets the ball ripped away, and he touches it on the ground. Oh, that was a brilliant bit of defending. He was just so unlucky that the ball was touched on the ground, and Cathal Killeen goes off. Don't think you could stand up and take off like that with the solo and go there, but he's done it anyway. Gavin O'Shea has the ball here on the left hand side, plays it inside to David Tubridy, offloads it to O'Shea once again. Out here to Uncle Lino, sells a lovely little jinking dummy, gives it back inside with Gavin O'Shea getting absolutely bottled up now. Gordon Kelly goes out to direct operations, a ball all the way back. Here it comes to Kevin Pender. He has been bottled up now by not one but two fairly formidable men in the size of McDonough and Cleary, but it's Cathal Killeen trying to go by them all now again. Goes by Cleary. There was a lot of steps taken, says Cleary. The referee wasn't in agreement, and Cathal Killeen holds on to it, and for his troubles he has Gordon Kelly to contend with. Ball is over the top though towards Owen Killeen, and the ball has gone to the left and wide again. It's been a common theme with Doonbeg, a lot of huff but no real puff.
Yeah, that's their fifth wide, Derek, and Owen Killeen, if he had it again, he was on his right leg, but he was facing the goal. He preferred to hook kick the ball over and give it a little bit height, and once it left his boot, I think he knew it was going to tail to the left hand side and wide. So fifth wide for Doonbeg. Kick out now for John Malone. I'm sure he'll go for distance. Conor Cleary is taking a position here in front of the stand, and you'd imagine he should be the target.
Does go for the stand side, didn't get the cleanest of connections on it. You could hear Conor Cleary screaming there at Paul Frawley, let the ball go out as far as me, but the ball again was touched on the ground, and again there's a little bit of afters there. Chris Maguire just says get on with it, and that's exactly right now what Kevin Pender's trying to do. Out it comes here to Owen Conway, gets the call from Tubridy, little pass over the shoulder, in it goes towards Paul Dillon, wrapped around the neck there by Indo O'Gorman, brought to the ground. It'll be a free for Doonbeg. It will be a yellow card for Indo O'Gorman, and it'll be an opportunity for Dahi Tubridy, left hand side into the breeze. It will take something pretty special from here, but no doubt he might attempt it, because already you get the feeling Doonbeg are going to have to start forcing the issue here. They need big scores.
They certainly do. I suppose it's an ideal give and go one for him, but Gordon Kelly has been around even a little bit longer than David has, so
and he's pointing back as well, about 3 foot
I'm quite sure. No, there's a yellow card there dished out. No, but there was one from India in the first instant. I think it was Sean Nealon for something that happened with Owen Conway here. That was brought to his attention here by Robbie Hart, the sideline official. So
there's
second
a substitution happening here. Actually, that's what's happening far side of the pitch for Doonbeg. That is Brian Behan, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to come in. And is it?
No.
No, it certainly looks like. Yeah, the change is coming. We'll just confirm on that in just
that's
a moment.
Clancy, I think that has come in there, is it? 18, Derek.
Keane Clancy.
Yeah, it is
Keane
Clancy.
Sorry, yeah. So in he comes, David Tubridy with the free. He very, very much finds Darragh Burns, and again on the spin, thinking he knew where the goal was. The ball has gone about 10 foot out to the right hand side and wide. Two really good point scoring opportunities from Doonbeg now, Joe, there in those last 3 minutes that could have done back within touching distance, and both going and begging.
Yeah, and badly wide. That was a bad wide, in fairness, Darragh, you know, and just spun very quickly, by the way, it's Shane Birmingham that made way just a moment ago. We'll stay with Ger Malone. Same kick out, same strategy. This time, can he find Cleary? Ball is break. Outstanding stuff from Frawley, yeah.
Takes the ball down, but again it's a breaking ball. It's Sean Nealon tackled Tig there by Tig Littis. Tig is complaining. I don't think he has any great cause to be honest. It was just a high trailing arm across the chest of Sean Nealon. Just one little gripe I have, and it would have tidied up that sub situation for us, and it was the same last night back in Clare with the injury time scenario. Why isn't there a board here for a senior championship game? That's one small little thing. The officials should have a board to tell us, to tell the crowd, to tell everybody, just to keep them all in check. It is a quarter-final playoff after all, so maybe that's just something to be looked into going forward. Right now, we'll look at Cleary's free.
I suppose it's the fact that maybe there's so many games on that they have three officials here, you know, that you would need the fourth to hang that. We'll stay with Cleary. We're right in line with
what
it,
a
Derek.
kick, what a score, what a two-pointer. Cleary puts up the two hands to tell Chris Maguire, put up that orange flag. That's a brilliant kick. And just as we spoke about at one end, Doonbeg missing 2 point scoring chances. Owen Cleary comes down here and kicks a two-pointer. 6 point swing with the goal. With the chance we had, 4 point swing with those.
That's true, and now it goes to 6 points again, you know, and you know, you just feel that Miltown are you know, there could be a goal away from, you know, making it as a sizable imprint and getting away from Doonbeg Holus Bolus, because they're playing much better football. Paul Frawley, a little bit of a high tackle there on Kevin Pender. On Cleary deemed the guilty party, but Doonbeg have to up the ante now. You know, they're going out of the championship unless they find a little bit of bejesus from somewhere. Cathal Killeen is in possession of the ball and they need scores, Derek. They need them quick.
And Conor Cleary goes back a 30-yard dash there to intercept, and out comes Gordon Kelly to get the second one. Killeen does really well though, goes down and still gets the ball back across here to Tig Littis. He has a man outside him. That man is Kevin McInerney. He's the one with the ball right now. Whatever about Miltown playing the better football, I think they're actually working harder, which is something that's within Doonbeg's remit to go and try and change. Right now Cathal Killeen is trying to find a path right down the middle back to Owen Conway, another man that likes it off to Kitog across to Darragh Burns. He will got a brilliant 2 pointer there in that first half. David Tubridy just tries to thread a little ball through, but that was poor enough on Darren McDonough. Step back, Shawnee Malone was the link man. Garrod Curtin plays it down the wing, and off Miltown go. It's Shawnee Nealon going to try and have plenty of time to pick this ball up. Gives it to Conor Cleary, immediately looks up to see what's on inside. Micheál Murray comes wide, wearing 8 but playing it wing forward. Lovely ball inside. That is a class ball inside. Owen Devaney touches it on the ground. They just didn't stick for him first time, and because he didn't then hand the ball back, he took on the shot even though the whistle had been blown. Chris Maguire will bring the ball forward up here to the 65 metre line, but again, we spoke about it, the warning signs, Joe, that was just an inch away from a third, second
scoring opportunity,
goal,
yeah, certainly, and it was a beautiful perceptive pass by Conor Cleary. Just wait until Devaney went to the right moment, and then he was unlucky, in fairness to the young lad, to touch the ball on the floor. But you know, Miltown have, you know, they'll wonder I'm sure that why they've only one goal on the scoreboard. They've created plenty of opportunities. Doonbeg at the moment bringing a lot of ball down the centre of the defence and not getting much joy out of it so far.
Owen Killeen has it now on the right hand side, just getting bottled up, gives it back towards McInerney, gets the call behind him from Cathal Killeen. He'll try one from distance, it's going to drop inside. Tig Littis has it, just loses his footing, releases it back. Here's Paul Dillon, brilliant block. There is an advantage coming. There was a bit of pinball inside around the goal. We're going to come back for a free, dead straight in front of the post. David Tubridy there standing with Chris Maguire. First time we've seen Doonbeg really threaten inside in that inside line. Bit of pinball stuff around the square, as we say. We'll come back for the free. They'll tap it over. It's one they badly need. 1-6 Miltown, 3 points Doonbeg. 8 minutes gone second half, and David Tubridy will try to change that.
I'm sure he will too, Derek. You know, he's only 22 yards out from the goal, and he'll clip this over the bar. He'll stay. He has been reporting something to Chris Maguire, who has obviously heeded it because he's gone in to have a chat with the umpires about something else. But there's no appeals from anybody else regarding untoward in the last move of the game. But I thought Miltown, you know, threw themselves at every tackle there. I didn't seem to. I have to say, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. So we'll go back now for the free, I'm sure.
Was he claiming perhaps that the foul might have been inside?
I don't know, but in fairness to Chris, he spoke to the officials.
He's looking across here to Robbie Hart as well, and I think, yeah, they're just saying, David, okay, get on with the free. You're dead straight in front of the posts, just taking his usual steps back. 1-3 to 6 points is the latest score we have between the Scanner and Lissimon there in the intermediate relegation playoff at the moment up in Quilty. So that's a level pegging Liscanner with the breeze to come second half.
And that's going to be that's one that has all the makings of that could very well go to extra time, because just those two neighbouring clubs, there'll be nothing in it. Last time round, remember, they met in Lissimon and had the better of it. Liscanner, will feel this is within their compass, as David Tubridy has his compass working. It's his second point of the afternoon, and we're 1-6 to 4 points with Miltown 5 to the good.
Yeah, needs a lot more than that to happen though in this closing 20 minutes or thereabouts. Jones's Super Value in Miltown and Tubridy's Bar and Restaurant in Doonbeg are commentary sponsors this afternoon. Ger Malone with the kick out for the Miltown men. Again, just looking right down the middle. They're gathering over here now towards the stand side, led by the march of Conor Cleary. Ball hangs down around Wheelahan's there. Owens behind trying to win the break. It's gone all the way through. It's beaten them all. It's Doonbeg to take it up. Tig Lillis is all in the back of his neck after whatever kind of a challenge occurred on that particular occasion. And we do indeed now have Brian Behan on the field for the Doonbeg men wearing the number 17 jersey. So himself and Clancy both off the bench for these closing stages. Long ball across, out it goes. Tig Lillis, can he make it before the sideline? Under the watchful eye of John Connell, you can be sure. It certainly didn't go over as long as John didn't wave the flag. So on we go with the attack, and it is Brian Behan taking it down that right hand channel. Doonbeg now really need to start forcing the issue, but of course the problem is then if Miltown set a high line and turn them over, they can bang it long to that inside line. So it's really a game of chess in these closing stages. Cathal Killeen goes through. Remember, Doonbeg captain and talisman Mikey Tubridy off the field through injury early doors in that first half. Across it comes to Owen Killeen. Ball just almost got away from him. He did get the second bite of the cherry. They're keeping it wide, but as Miltown have been so disciplined in the defence, long ball inside into O'Gorman, once again battling with Dara Burns, and it's Enda that gets the ball right in along the end line and wins his free out as well. It's such simplicity in the role he has to do, but he's doing it brilliantly.
Well, Miltown, Derek, you know, they play, they bring back their key men, Dara McDonough and Gordon Kelly, and if you play down the middle, you're playing it right up their barra, and then they break at pace. Conor Cleary to Owen Cleary, as they have done so far, running with Wheelahan. An opportunity now for further scores
he's
here.
He's being told to go and take it on, and he does just that. Pops it over. Gerard Curtin was kind of saying, I was inside, Ralph, but he gets his score. Owen Cleary pointed towards the goals to tell him just knock it over, keep that scoreboard ticking. It's Miltown 1-7, Doonbeg 4 points, and a quick look at the clock will tell us that we have played 11 minutes of the second half.
That was a sweeping move again, all the way from Indo O'Gorman, winning ball his left cornerback position. Two quick kick passes, Conor to Owen, then on the run from Wheelahan, and he had a fairly simple task at the end of it from 20 yards out to clip the ball over the bar. He's had a fine game as well, young Wheelahan, making his presence felt in a number of areas in the pitch. So too this young Frawley has had a fine game, Derek. Might top it off with a score.
From a really tiny angle, just stays out to the right and wide. Good ball from Gerard Curtin to find him, and that ball just stays out to the right and wide. But it's all Miltown. They're controlling proceedings.
They're 6 points up. I'm sure Martin Guerin will wonder why they're further ahead, because they are controlling proceedings. But as I said, Doonbeg have to throw caution to the wind now. They have to, Cathal Killeen, in fairness to him, has carried the fight from their point of view time and time again. But there's too much of it, very much down the middle of the pitch, and Miltown are lapping it up. They have a break now. One in the middle of the field from Doonbeg, but Kevin McInerney will need help, and he's got it in Tig Lillis.
Yeah, again, just looking up though, and you can see the route to goal is being blocked. They're allowing them to play left and right of the D. They've no issue with that, but just don't let them through. But Gavin O'Shea, he got through twice against Clonmel the last day. He's trying to win this breaking ball. He cuts inside, loses his footing again. He's on an advantage, free in for Doonbeg. Chris Maguire right there on the scene, but if Gavin had just held his footing there, the little channel had opened up to let him look at Ger Malone's two eyes. It was blocked off though. It's going to be a free. Chris goes again with the shaving foam. He's one of the only referees I see that are actually using it, but it is 1-7 to 4 right now. This could be double scores if David Tubridy can put this one over, and if Doonbeg can just bring it down the home stretch, but they're going to need green, orange, every class of a colour, I think, if they're going to turn this one around. Here comes David with the free, neat as a pin, as he sixes it straight between the posts. That's his third point of the evening. 1-7-5 Miltown lead.
And that's only 2 scores, I think. That's 3 frees from David, and was it there? Burns
2-pointer.
Yeah, that's it. And that's a poor return, but nevertheless, Doonbeg are hanging in there. That's what I'm sure their management team will want to keep hanging in there. We might get a break, might get a goal, bring this game to the last couple of minutes, because Miltown have dominated proceedings, not out of sight by any means. 5 points in the game. Jer Malone, all his kick out second half, same place, and they know who they're looking for. And in fairness, if they're not catching it, they're breaking it. Paul Frawley tries to chip flick it. Gordon Kelly says, "This is how you do it, young man. You've been down," but he's bottled up, and Doonbeg have turned him over.
Cathal Clean scrapping for it there, but Ralph Whelan comes back for a second bite of the cherry. It's a breaking ball. It's a ball that's won. It's going to be a free for Doonbeg, and for the little bit of afters that occurred, I think it's Owen Cleary has picked up a bang on the right shin from whatever bit of a follow through was there from Brian Behan, who's no shrinking violet in fairness to him, but it's going to be a free for the Doonbeg men. I've been really impressed with this Ralph Whelan underneath the dropping ball. He's contested a lot for a young fella, but it's just a break in the last 2 or 3 have gone the way of Doonbeg as Brian Shanahan comes in to issue the instructions. David Tuberty holding the most prized possession. That size 5 O'Neill. He gives it back to Kevin Pinder, who'll try and drive forward. Gordon Kelly just looks to squeeze in on top of him. Shawnee Nealon there as well. David Tuberty dinks a lovely ball over the top for Gavin O'Shea. He's trying to take on his man. He puts the fist on the ball, and that's probably the best move we've seen from Doonbeg right throughout the contest. The architect being David Tuberty, the finisher being Gavin O'Shea. It's back to 4. It's Miltown 1-7, Doonbeg 6 points.
Lovely perceptive pass by David again, and in fairness, it's no surprise, Derek, that they found the gaps here on the wings, because they haven't been getting joy down the centre of the field. David realised that, popped the pass out here to the left hand side, and Gavin O'Shea, you know what he's like on the scoring charts. He's done it in Clare 2 weeks ago with his 2 goals. Now he's had a fisted point this afternoon, and we're down to a 4-point game.
Again, a long booming puck out is one. It's Garrod Curtin that read that best of all. He gives it across here towards Ralph Whelan. Oh, Tig lit it. That's a brilliant rob from Tig as he takes the ball down, plays it out far side of the ground to Owen Killeen. They now are trying to commit the numbers forward, but they have, of course, to watch that halfway line as well. Free over there on the far side of the pitch. That was the guilty party, I think, on that occasion. Stephen Murphy, perhaps. He's going to be spoken to by Chris Maguire. Free for Doonbeg, free for Brian Behan, who has a habit of putting himself about when he comes into games. He's doing that brilliantly now, I have to say, at the moment, and Doonbeg are just starting to find another bit of wind.
And well, you see, they're still in the game. There's only 4 points in it, and when you have David Tuberty in your side, you'll always feel we get a free or wherever it's from. There's a strong breeze in his face, that there's potential there. Brian Behan certainly has got involved, certainly in every aspect of the Doonbeg play, and Doonbeg playing with a little bit more belief now, and as I said, throwing caution to it. They're committing men forward. They have to be careful they don't break the line on 3, but Eamon Tuberty is ringing the changes. Cathal Killeen has carried the fight, in fairness to him, throughout the game. He's been pulled here directly in front of our commentary position, and Doonbeg and the crowd here in Doonbeg as well in the stand beginning to feel there could be something in the game for them.
Cathal Killeen with the free just on the 65 metre line. Gavin O'Shea is in a bit of space in the middle. Kevin Pinder, Kevin McInerney there as well, but it goes to the one and only David Tuberty, but the one and only Shawnee Malone breaks the ball up. Owen Killeen does really well to pick the break. Back comes to Tuberty once again. James Killeen coming up now, wearing number 3, heading there up towards top of the left, being tracked by Sean Nealon. That's a speculative enough ball that breaks down in the favour of the Doonbeg men once again, just wheeling back around. Cathal Killeen looks up to his right hand side. That's Owen over there just inside the arc, just hanging midway between that and the D. Keane Clancy looks across. That's a good run from Keane Mahoney now to come up and take this ball. They need him on the ball. He's a real live wire when he gets going, kicking it off his left and kicking a really good score, and it's game on here in St Michael's Park as Brian Shanahan rallies the troops here underneath us. It's back to a 1-score game. The goal between them, Conor Cleary's green flag. Miltown 1-7, Doonbeg 7 points. We're 13 minutes from home.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes, Derek, and that whole story, we're 2 forwards scoring, 2 players scoring for Doonbeg. It's like that whole story with the Dublin bus, and now we've got 2 more, another 2 half-backs. Gavin Shea, Cian Mahoney off his left leg, knew exactly what he wanted to do when the ball broke out. Tim, it's a one-score game. They're still hanging in there, and I said Miltown have had plenty of opportunities, but maybe they might just profit now. Paul Frawley on his right leg, kicked one wide a few minutes ago, need a bit of help, and he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Murray's shot was blocked, 45, but still a scoring opportunity, live scoring opportunity. opportunity for Miltown, and it's one they need because Doonbeg are coming here and scare them back into this match in a big way.
But once again, who was the man that put up his hand to try and win the kick out? Only Conor Cleary, and everything that happened after that, he was the genesis of it. And his twin brother now is coming across and, like a golfer, just takes off the gloves as he tries to line up this one, and the gloves right in front of him there. We're along with Robbie Hart, our linesman here on this near side of the pitch. So Owen Cleary with the 45, right hand side, maybe 8-9 yards to the right of the post as he looks at it. So it should suit him to curl it from the left and hopefully curl it back to the right. We'll have a perfect view of the arc on this one. The man wearing the number 13 jersey right now. Miltown leading 1-7 to Doonbeg's 7 points. This just to give them the little bit of comfort once again. He's caught it well. It is curling, but it's far too much out to the left hand side. He goes to retrieve the gloves. No umpire is going for a flag. That's what Doonbeg would have wanted, but there's a kick out now for Eamon Tubridy to find his mark.
Exactly. Now, Doonbeg, as they say, they're facing down the barrel of exiting the Clare Senior Football Championship, and Doonbeg will go to the bitter end. They'll expect that Brian Shannon says pump it out there, let him fight for the ball. Kevin McInerney will expect to break it, and he's done that. Ty Glittis has put in an excellent second half. In fairness to the lad, he really has powered Doonbeg in there on breaks and go forward ball. Brian Behan very involved since his introduction a couple of minutes ago as well.
He takes off down the right hand side, gets the call from Carl Colleen, and Ty Glittis continues in support of the attack. A long ball inside towards Dara Burns. It breaks down, but Miltown deal with it really well. And the newly introduced over there, James O'Connor, is the man that brings it away. Indo Gorman has it now, galloping down here up towards Owen Cleary. This could be a chance for them, trying to make the movement inside is Micheál Murray. Cleary for an orange flag. Cleary has nailed it. That's a quality score from Owen Cleary, and once again it just shows the dynamic of this two-pointer. It puts Miltown now out into a 1-9-7 lead. The lead was 3, now it's 5. That's a big score from a big player.
A big score considering the last two scores were Doonbeg's, and they worked so hard for those two one-pointers, and now one break of play in the Gorman. Very good again, powering forward, got involved in the play, knew exactly his role, give it to the scorer, over the bar, 5 points in it once again.
This time the ball again is hanging high up into the air. It's a repetitive enough one. They're getting the bodies underneath it, and Ralph Whelan is the man that breaks it down for Gordon Kelly to win that breaking ball. Back here to James O'Connor. Made his dad fill in water bottles when we came in here a while ago. Brilliant worker he is indeed. Long ball in that goes from Shawnee Nealon, finding Paul Frawley right hand side of the ground again. Sean just makes the run, makes sure that there's a little bit of space here now to be stepped back into. That's Darren McDonough, team captain, looks across, finds Conor Cleary. No, it doesn't find him, because that's a fair bit of defensive work put in there by the Doonbeg cornerback Jason Lennan. It's out to Cathal Colleen. He's just getting wrapped up, but does really well. A little swivel at the hips brings him clear, not once but twice, and he's still going with the ball up towards the 45 metre line. 4 Miltown in around him. Dara Burns comes to help, cuts inside. He's on the 45, not within scoring range, so he's going to need to work it in maybe 10-15 yards closer. Again though, they have them in over here. That is Keane Clancy now working the 1-2 with Behan. Behan decides he can't count, so he gives it back once again. Behan still trying to hold on to, back to Gavin O'Shea. He picks that ball up. Kevin Pinder just sells the dummy, trying to just be that battering ram right through the middle. Gerald Curtin is stalking him. The ball goes out across here and towards Owen Colleen. He's trying to turn it onto that right boot. That's a good score. Once again, Doonbeg working really hard to get that score, and once again it is that man Owen Colleen that is on the scoreboard for the Magpies. 1-9-8. They're certainly not going away.
No, they're certainly not going away, and a much better second half. And you'd wonder where was this Doonbeg performance in the first half, because they're throwing themselves in every tackle, and Miltown now have to come down and answer that score. We're back down to a 1 point game, and in a game where 2 points can have a huge bearing on it, Doonbeg will want this game going right down to the death. Kick out now from Ger Malone. You can be rest assured he'll be eyeing up Conor Cleary coming out our side of the ground with his right boot down on top of the big man from the big man who hurls, of course, with Kilmaley as well.
Yeah, absolutely does, and they're going well in that too. Into the quarter final, Cathal Colleen with the ball on an advantage, looking inside for Paul Dinham. We're going to come back. It's going to be a free for Doonbeg, just shy of the 65 metre line, so it'll take a little bit of setting up indeed as well. We're now flying through the closing stages. We've played coming up on 22 minutes in this second half, so 8 plus the additional time to go to the break very shortly. Joe will start thinking about his Patrick Burke menswear man of the match selection. I would imagine a lot of the shortlists right now are in the maroon and gold of the men from Miltown. Ball over the top down, trying to change that now is Cian Clancy. Lays it off towards David Tuberty. He's trying to spin, but again you can sense the panic. He's just bottled up. It comes across to Behan though, working it inside. Opportunity, and it flashes across the goal from Cian Clancy. Just flashed right across the goal. He was level with the post when he tried to kick that ball. Just tried to punt kick it, hoping it might catch the outside of it. Just goes all the way across. Out the ball goes. Would have been a big score. It hasn't materialised. 1-9 Miltown, 8 points Doonbeg.
And in fairness, that also none of the players bringing the ball to tackle, popping the pass. Brian Behan centrally involved again, and Clancy, as you said, I thought originally he was going to clip the ball over the bar, bring it back down to a 3-pointer, but in fairness, they recycled the ball around. He got his chance, but he took the ball standing, Derek. Always difficult thing to do is to turn around from there and try and find a gap. Ger Malone, as always, down on top of Conor Cleary. Kevin Pinder there making a nuisance of himself, and ball runs for Owen.
Didn't it run brilliantly? Owen Cleary off the breaking ball, jinking off to the right, and kicks a really tidy score. He's kicked them left, he's kicked them right, he's kicked them all day. He's been exceptional. Has Owen Cleary. Will try and tot up 2 2-pointers and 3 regular ones. They make that 7 for Owen Cleary of Miltown's 1 goal and 10. They lead 110-8, and the latest score from Quilty, 53 minutes played there. Liscannor 11 points in his time and 1 goal and 6.
Well, that's 2 points by Liscannor. That's going to right down to the wire again. Brian Behan has picked up the break. He needs a bit of help. Kevin Pinder is there. It looks as if Miltown have swamped him over. Gordon Kelly,
brilliant.
Owen Cleary, and now Sean Nealon once again go Miltown, trying to put this game to bed. That ball from Micheál Murray is going to drop short, and Eamon Tuberty now gets an opportunity. Doonbeg won't rescue Derry without a goal, and they have how many minutes left to do so?
They have not that many at all. 6.5 plus the additional time, so maybe we'll tidy it all up to 10. So there is time, perhaps, if we have enough additional time to knock it over towards that particular margin. But Colleen needs to be a little bit brustigy now as he picks up this ball. But Gordon Kelly going with him, turning and twisting and still holding on to it. Colleen does really well on that occasion. Back here was Dara Burns cutting across the middle, trying to get on the right boot. The solo just didn't come back up to hand for him, but he has it free. It is well won once again. Brian Behan has been brilliant, as you keep saying, since his introduction. He's won a free now just on the edge of the arc. I think it's just, is it inside or outside? It's hard to see from here. The white line not overly clear from our position right now, but the fact that Chris Maguire isn't putting down the foam would indicate, I'd say it's just inside.
I don't know. Yeah, it is.
Inside,
it is. I can see the line. He's about 2 metres behind it. So David, I'm sure, will aim to. He might very well leave it to Eamon. There's a chat going on. David Tuberty doesn't fancy. Well, he is. He's saying, right, no, I'll kick it. He has a look at the scoreboard. He knows they need a couple of scores. 110-8. This could be a big one because it leaves them within those 2 2-pointer range. But just playing up into the upper end, the 2-pointer really isn't on. It would take a mammoth effort, and maybe David might have tailed this one off the upright.
Out and still there to be won. It's put in, and it is eventually fisted over the bar, and it is Cian Clancy, the man that got it. Another point back for Innistimon. 11 points. The Scanner won 7. Innistimon is the latest score we have on that one. And here in St. Michael's Park, there's 4 between them. Miltown won 10. Doonbeg 9 points. That Conor Cleary goal could prove to be just so massive in the context of this game. What Doonbeg would do for one now in these closing 6 or so minutes would be so priceless. Ger Malone with the kick out, clips it short. Brilliant ball out. It finds Seanie Nealon on that left hand channel. Owen Colleen goes with him to try and get in the near hand tackle, but he pops it off. Good work from him. And Miltown again will try to hold on to it. Another man introduced on that far side. We'll get a hold of his number in just a moment. It's going to be taken along the line by Darragh McDonough, getting wrapped up there by Kevin Pinder. Has to just be very, very patient with the ball. Nice little threaded pass into him, and looking to play it inside once again. There's plenty of movement. Enda O'Gorman is in loads of space here down this right hand channel. Paul Frawley works the 1-2 there with Conor Cleary going with him right now at the moment. Pinder just trying to get the hand in, but it's off to Gerard Curtin. Curtin with the little dummy shimmy gives it back into the middle once again. Shawnee has come up for a little bit of fun in the attack on the 45 metre line. Gerard Curtin takes it. Shawnee Malone's birthday was recently, Joe. We won't put an age in him, but as you
Shawnee, was it? I was right disappointed in getting an invite to that.
It was all over Instagram.
Shawnee's he's late 30s at this stage, so I'm sure he'll enjoy this one though, because at the moment they're 4 points to the good, and he's just kicked the ball away, so we put a bit of a kibosh on him. Doonbeg now need to get a score out of this. If they do, Derek, we're going to have a thrilling last couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's all about the momentum from the turnover, isn't it? David Tuberty goes back again. The call's about the 3-up occur as Cathal Colleen tries to bring it through, gets it over the top of Gerard Curtin there, out to Gavin O'Shea. Left hand side of the pitch is Darragh Burns, 45 metres out. James O'Connor with him. Darragh sets the feet, does well to hold them. back to Cathal Clean. He's on the 45 metre line, switches it all the way across to the one man you want to have the ball. That man is David Tuberty. He's inside the arc. He's going to have to pop it over the top. He does. There is a runner coming in along the in-line. Doonbeg just stacking up, trying to get that shot away, and it is another point, and it is now Doonbeg really starting to hold as their full-back James Killeen is the man that came all the way up into the attack. What a ball it was from David Tuberty to find him. It's back to the goal. You can hear the crowd here. It's knockout championship. It's Miltown and Doonbeg, and it's Miltown holding the upper hand thanks to Conor Cleary's green flag.
Yeah, that was another good score from Doonbeg though, from the turnover here, from the get-go. You know, they kept the ball wide, none of them bringing the ball to tackle, moved the ball well, and Miltown now are beginning to eat fingernails because it's a game they should have been, well in control of, but they've left Doonbeg in the game, and James Killeen, after his exploits a moment ago, will have to win another ball back, and he's done just that because Doonbeg have the football. 3 points in the game, and in fairness, 3 of the Doonbeg defenders there, he kept put their name on the score sheet as well. Kevin Pinder in possession, Lorna Parker, St. Michael's, Aaron Kilmahal.
Yeah, high tackle, so that has an advantage going, and maybe a chat coming for one of the Miltown players with Chris Maguire when the play eventually breaks down. Right now he's letting it go. Good officiating.
Cathal Clean has put in an excellent game, in fairness. He's been on the ball, always eager, always available, and trying to get other players into it. Dara Burns, Doonbeg playing with a little pep in their step right now.
Paul Dillon just getting absolutely bottled up, did well to get the ball clear to Gavin O'Shea. Again the tackles come in, and again Chris Maguire says that's going to be a free in, and again Joe, get your spectacles out. Are we on the verge of the arc?
I think we
just inside, is it?
Yeah, just inside. Yeah, it is. He's a metre
close,
or two. Yellow card for Dara, I'm sure as well. Coming up for him from Chris Maguire. In fairness, Chris, he's been very consistent throughout, any high tackles at all. Yellow card. Now this is a big free for David. How are we on the clock, Derek?
28 and a half.
28 and a half. We're going to have 3 or 4 minutes, and it could be down to a 2-pointer if the great man from Doonbeg can angle this over. We're going to have another substitution, I think, and he's giving the breakdown, or he's going out to John Connell time, yeah, and we're going to know very quickly. He's calling a sub as well, so whether he can come in or not, I don't know. Maybe after the ball goes dead.
Yeah, just we'll pick up the number there in just a moment. As we said, no board in operation here.
Connell Mead came in a few minutes ago there from Miltown as well, so it'll be Doonbeg's turn now to go to the substitutes just a moment or two.
David Tuberty, right now it's Miltown 110, Doonbeg 10 points. Remember, this is a Doonbeg team that came up with that late goal against Lissy Casey, a result that ultimately put them here. So Owen Killeen is the man that's coming off the pitch. You can see number 22 leaving, and you just have to keep a quick eye.
It's Rory Walsh, I'd say, that's coming in, is it?
Yeah.
It looks like it's young Walsh that's going to come in there, and he'll go into the forward line, I'm sure. And in fairness to Killeen, he's been very busy. I think it's Rory Walsh that has come in.
David Tuberty with the free. That's the most important thing. It's curling, and as it always does, it's coming back beautifully, and we're back to a 2-point game as David Tuberty, as he has been so consistent for so many years. 110 Miltown, 11 points Doonbeg. One kick of the ball could decide this game.
Yes, and you're fighting for your championship lives now. The ball becomes that bit heavier, that bit harder to hold, and option taking, have a lot more serious consequences. So it's right down to everybody. We spoke to everybody would have said this one should go right down to the wire, particularly with Miltown are ringing the changes as well on the far side of the ground.
Reedy, is it?
It looks like it's Ewan Reedy, and I think it's Paul Foley. He had a very good first half, not maybe as prominent in the second half, but Foley had a very good first half. Reedy will come in now. He'll come in that middle 8, and it's all about that size 5 now. Ball belted out. So generally with your Malone, you take an eye on Conor Cleary in. You can be fairly certain the ball will land somewhere in his domain.
We're 35 seconds into the additional time. I'd imagine 34 would be a good guess as to when that final whistle might go. And it's 110 Miltown, Doonbeg 11 points. Owen Devaney told he picked the ball off the ground, and Miltown now have to be careful just to hand the ball back. Don't concede the yardage. Gavin O'Shea goes off with the solo and go. Doonbeg now with the game really in the melting pot. They have to play it at the other side of the field to where they are right now. Their manager has been here on this sideline right throughout the contest. The rest of his management team and subs have been over on the far side of the ground. The ball is taken away. It is Owen Cleary, and it's inside. There is an opportunity here. That's Devaney. He's right through on goal. He comes out. Eamon Tuberty's there. He kicks it over, and that should be it. That's just a brilliant turnover score. Owen Devaney with his second, but it's the work done by Owen Cleary here on this near side of the pitch to turn the ball around, didn't look up and dink it over the top. It's back to 3, 111 to 11 points. Miltown in front. We're well into injury time. Joe, talk to us about your Patrick Burke men's man of the match.
Well, for a long time they were all dressed in maroon, and it has to be said, the Miltown boys had, by far the better of the first half, and indeed parts of the second half. But Miltown or Doonbeg lads have powered into the game late, I have to say, by Cathal Killeen. He's had an outstanding effort. Brian Behan, Cian Clancy, all the lads that came on, their substitutes, have made a contribution. But ultimately, when you go to the Miltown, if they are to win the game, and that's by no means a definite just yet, Inda Gorman has been outstanding. So too the Cleary brothers, and none more so than our Patrick Workman in the match this evening in Owen. He's kicked, I think, to 7 or 8 points so far. Very involved the last critical score as well, and has really led the line when they needed scores. Has delivered time and time again. 2 pointers, the big score. But Derek's game still alive. But our Patrick Workman in the match this afternoon goes to the man from Miltown, the guard from Miltown, and Mr. Owen Cleary.
Full time in Quilty. Liscannor 11, Innistimon 1-7. So Liscannor safe. Innistimon go on to the final of the relegation series there in the intermediate championship. Cathal Killeen with a long, high, dropping, waiting ball, but who's inside underneath it? The man that scored the goal in the first half, and the celebration now is the same as it was when the ball rattled the net, because Conor clearly realises just how big a moment that was.
Yes, you could see what Cathal Killeen wanted to do, float the ball in, cause a little bit of consternation. They need the goal. The last score becomes vital now. A good experience from young Devaney, because the goal chance was there, but in fairness to him, he held his head, needed the score just to push it out to 3, and it gives Miltown now a little bit of leeway as they have possession of the ball. Owen Cleary once again looking for a 1-2, and they've created a little bit of a gap, I think.
Over the top, Shawnee Nealon fists it over the bar, and that should seal it. Miltown now lead by 112 to Doonbeg's 11 points. And while we are in the teeth of the additional time, we've played 3.5 minutes of it. Indeed, a spirited fight from Doonbeg, as you would expect from the great Magpies from the Long Village. But on this occasion, they just had to give way to a better structured, maybe more disciplined and indeed precise Miltown attack, kicking 112. Right now, Gordon Kelly goes back tracking. He's just brilliant, isn't he? You'd be a coaching expert with Gordon Kelly as the full-time whistle goes. 112 to Miltown. It's 11 points for Doonbeg. The Magpie season comes to an end. Miltown are the final name into that quarter-final pot. They will be in the unseeded side. So just to tidy up all that, our 4 seeds will be Aerogue, Cratloe, Kilmurray and Lissycasey, and our unseeded teams will be Miltown, Dura Bearfield, St. Brickens and Innistimon. So that'll be the crossover. The draw, we think, on Tuesday, we'll get that tidied up. But they're the 8 teams still standing, Joe, in the race for Jack Daly.
Yes, and I know we kind of had suggested that Miltown might have an edge, and I think Mangairn will be reasonably pleased. Good control first half. Remember, they were lined out without Cormac Murray, who was a huge loss to their side, but they'll have him back now, all going well for the quarter final. Full marks to Doonbeg in the second half. 3 points in the first half with the breeze. They managed to kick 8 in the second half, so that gives you an indication of how much they realised. I suppose they were on the trapdoor there to go to the championship, and they rallied, and Brian Shanahan, I'm sure, will commend them for that, because they wouldn't be wearing the jerseys they're wearing if they were the type to give up, because it didn't look great at half time. They lost their captain and had only 3 points on the board. Kicked 8 in the second half, and but Miltown always had that little bit of a cushion courtesy of that goal. We spoke at the time, it could have been a huge momentum swing from Michael Tuberty's miss up to Connor's goal. 6 point swing. They didn't need the 6 points, they had to earn it the hard way, but they did just that and deservedly take their place now in the quarter final of the TUS Clare Senior Football Championship.
And just confirmation from the County Board Chairman, the draw is on Tuesday evening at 6:30, so that's when we'll find out, because of course that other intermediate game is on Monday evening as well, so a lot to tidy up on all that. As we say, Miltown into the last 8, Joe, from a Doonbeg perspective, stayed out of the relegation side of things. I know that's no major compensation for them or anything like that, but at the same time, they brought it right down the wire. They did what they could do. Losing Mikey Tuberty to injury was huge as well, because he's been a key part of what they've done heretofore. Disappointed, I suppose, but at the same time, a solid enough season.
Yes, definitely, but I think they'll have a few regrets from today. The first half they just did not play with any great, brought a lot of ball down the middle, and with maybe 15 minutes to go, they realised we're going to win the championship and started giving the ball before the tackle, using the flanks to good effect. Got 3 lads came up from defence. Cian Clancy obviously had come on and got his point, was unlucky with a goal chance. James Killeen came up, Gavin O'Shea, Cian O'Mahony, all kicked scores from their defence, and they really just rallied and threw caution to the wind, and when they did that, they made Miltown look very, very ordinary, and that's a concern for Miltown as they go into the quarter-final, because, as you say, they go in as second seeds, and the one team, the big dog in the fight is still the boys from Éire Óg, and nobody wants to see them coming in, because they're the team that could put you to the sword very early. But you can win it unless you're in it, Derek. Miltown are there, so they'll relish an opportunity now to prepare for a quarter-final of the Senior Football Championship.
Just to put you on the spot, so in Miltown's group we have St. Brickens as an unseeded team. Miltown now come through, and it was, which team topped that group?
Oh yes, that would be the men from Kilmurray.
Yes. So they can't meet. There's repeat pairings as much as possible.
Repeat pairings won't. So that, that's two ruled out. So it just means now that Miltown, it increases their odds.
Possibility.
Increases their odds. No, that said, there's a lot of other sides in it as well. Cretlow, are a top seed as well. So, but nevertheless, Doonbeg, will have some regrets in the first half of display. But in fairness, as always you'd expect from the men from Doonbeg, they give everything to the cause, and it just wasn't good enough this afternoon.
Yeah, John, we'll do for our post-match interview. We'll get Owen Cleary, the man of the match, up for a chat. He's just heading in towards the dressing room there now. So if you're on the Clare GA TV stream, do stay tuned for that. But we will sign off here on Clare FM with my thanks to Joe here on analysis, to all the gang back at base, to our commentary sponsors, Tubridy's Bar and Restaurant in Doonbeg and Jones's Super Value in Miltown, and of course to Patrick Burke Menswear for their sponsorship of our man of the match selection, who this afternoon and evening here in Clonmel was none other than Owen Cleary, a 7.
CS Fish specialises in catching, sourcing and delivering fish of the highest quality, drawing on over 30 years experience. We have shops in Doonbeg, Ennis and Limerick. We also offer wholesale throughout Clare, Limerick and Galway. Visit us on Instagram at csfishdoonbeg. Be our guest in Tubridy's Bar and Restaurant, Doonbeg. We have a great selection of fish dishes, a haven for fine food. The restaurant is a great all-rounder for atmosphere, food and service. Tubridy's is noted for its comfortable atmosphere where locals and visitors can share a drink or two and even a story. Visit us at Tubridy's Bar, Doonbeg.
And it's kept inside as well. It could be an opportunity here on the Danny on the spin. That's a really, really tight.
His ankles, which wasn't ideal, but just had the space and had the time, and now David to contact.
Big Clare's is down injured, but right now the concern is the fact that Miltown are going all the way through. This could be a big opportunity. Conor Cleary! Goal! Dylan giving it to Darren Byrne, speeding around. They could do the score from him. He takes it on. It's travelling. That's a fabulous kick from Darren Byrne.
Miltown keep the ball up this side of the field, second half. Great turn. Micheál Murray
cutting inside onto his right boot. That's a Now, delighted to have winning Miltown manager Martin Gearden here with us. We'll just pop off the headset there to hear you properly, Martin. Has the blood calmed down a little bit after that? What a battle.
Oh, what a battle. Have you ever seen it any other way with Doonbeg? We knew it was going to be a battle, particularly down here in Kilmahil. It's probably tighter pitched than definitely than Cusick Park where we played the last day, probably the best football we played in a long time. But look, we worked terribly hard in the first half. And it probably told in the last 10 minutes. We were a little bit tired, but Doonbeg never give up. Just that they have that inner belief and that know-how to grind out teams and they have good shooters as well. They got some very good scores in the second half. So look at we're just delighted to come away with a win. To be honest with you.
Going in front at half time, and then I suppose the bit of shower rain that came as you were going in and realising conditions were in your favour when you'd come back out, you must have been fairly confident at that point. Yeah,
we just felt game management and composure were the most important things and not try and shoot the lights out. But in saying that, we didn't want to be shooting shy either, because I was probably a bit surprised that Doonbeg didn't shoot more in the first half, particularly for 2-pointers. But it's actually not as easy as it looks, even with the wind. The wind is not blowing directly into the goals, so you had to be very measured with your shot. And look, in the second half, we probably were very clinical with what we got. We probably just didn't get enough of them. But look at, it's just the wind doesn't win games for you, but it certainly helps. And I think the wind dropped for a period in the second half. I'd say for a good 10 or 12 minutes. And look at they were coming on at us hard. And I thought they got soft freeze, to be honest with you, in the second half. And that's maybe we need to clean up our tackling. But sometimes referees, when the team is behind, they maybe just give freeze. Look, they probably freeze, but I just thought they were a little bit 50-50,
Yeah. Was it difficult running the troops for this game, because it was probably such a helter-skelter finish the last day, and you'd be disappointed, and then you're saying, okay, we have to reset, lads, we have a game in 2 weeks?
It wasn't, to be honest with you. It was a big disappointment when we found out Cormac was not with us. Like, he scored 3-2 the last day. How are we going to replace that? In fairness, the lads stepped up and got some great scores today. But no, it wasn't, because we had played so well the last day. Up to 57, 58 minutes, we were in total control of that game, and we just let it slip for the last 5 minutes. So when you do that, you're not doing a whole lot wrong. So we just felt that if we could see it out for 63, 64 minutes, but again, we had worked so hard in the first half that it probably told in the last 10 minutes. But look, we just had the know-how, the character, and the composure to finish out for at the end, because Doonbeg are just a hard nut to crack.
It might have been the scenic route, but you're into the last 8 now, and some big sharks still swimming in that tank, so whatever comes after this will be massive.
Yeah, look, it is what it is now. We are where we want to be. It's knockout football. I think we'll play with the shackles off now. I'm glad we got this game. I would not have liked to been waiting a month for another game. I don't think it suits this group of players. They need challenges, and they're definitely going to get a challenge next day. There's great teams there in front of us. Let's see who comes out of the pot on, when is it, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday night, I think.
Tuesday night, whatever it is. And look, we plan from there, and we'll do our best, and see what happens.
Fantastic stuff. Well done on the victory today, Martin. That is Miltown manager Martin Gearden there after their win here against Doonbeg. Puts them into the last 8 of the TUS Clare Senior Football Championship. It wraps up our coverage here on Clare GATV. Thanks you all for tuning in. Quarter-finals are next on board. We'll see you then.